Hey everybody, Mike Hopkins here, Apostolic Technical Guy. I believe that computers should be safe to use for somebody like me, for my kids, for my family, and I want to talk for a little bit about content filtering. I believe that the best method to keep your network safe is to use multiple levels of content filtering, and we'll go into several ways to do that. But today I want to focus on one easy to use, inexpensive, in fact free method to filter your entire home network so that any device that connects to your wireless internet is going to have the content filtered. Is going to block domains that are that you don't want to have in your home. So let me jump into that quick here, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to go to OpenDNS.com, and if you've never heard of this, DNS stands for Domain Name Services. DNS is actually the service that exists on the internet that when you type in something like OpenDNS or you type in google.com in your web browser, your local machine goes out to a DNS server, looks up that name and finds the IP address associated with it, and that's the address that's actually used for communication between the machines. So OpenDNS actually just inserts like a layer of filtering and reporting and some other fancy stuff in there. You can get a free account. They've also got premium accounts, but for my needs, the free account works great. And you can and I can show you what that looks like. So I'm logged in as myself here, and OpenDNS.com, and so I'm looking at my account here, and they've got statistics about web usage and blocked domains, and you can look at all of those reports. The free version has just like a week window of reports or something like that. The premium version, of course, has stats for a year. But let me look at the settings real quick, and I'm going to select my network. I've got my home network that is associated with the IP address of my local network here. That is the outside world would see my router as that IP address, basically. So if I look at that, here's your content filtering options, and you can do the basic levels: high, moderate, low, none. I actually took high and then customized it. I was looking at actually hunting knives, and I had to disable the weapons category there. But otherwise, you can go high filtering level, and I've never really had any problems. There was nothing that I needed to get to that I couldn't get to, other than, like I say, a hunting knife company. So that's pretty easy to set up, and that's OpenDNS. Now, having set up an account there, the next step is that you have to take your local internet router, and let me go to my router interface. I actually have a Belkin router, but all routers function very similarly. So if you've got a Linksys router or some other brand, it should work similarly. And in the setup here, typically the default setting is that when your router connects through your cable modem or DSL modem or whatever, your wireless router, let's say for example, when it connects, it's going to pull a DNS address from the service provider, if it's Comcast or Quest or whoever you're using for your internet service. It's going to pull that, and that's typically this click button here. It says automatic from ISP, uses DHCP, and says, okay, tell me where to look for my names. Well, what we're going to do with OpenDNS is actually overwrite that and say we don't want to use the automatic one. We're going to use these specific name servers that are at OpenDNS. So these are the ones that OpenDNS.com controls, and these IP addresses here, you won't have to remember these. They're listed on the OpenDNS website, but 208.67.222.222, and then a secondary, the alternate is the 220.220. So once you apply those on your router, now everybody that connects to your router on your local network in your home through a wireless device, whether it's a laptop, an iPad, or they've got an Android phone that's wirelessly connected, all of those connections will be filtered through whatever you set up in your web filtering on OpenDNS. And again, this is all free, so you can set that up for free, and it's a good first level of filtering for your home network. Now, one caveat that I do want to bring up is that I have a static IP address, so it's relatively easy to configure. My local home network, the IP address never changes. If you have a typical residential cable modem setup, you'll probably have what's called a dynamic IP address, which means your sort of public IP address may rotate frequently, may change. OpenDNS luckily has an option to handle that, and if you go to your settings tab and the advanced settings option, there's a dynamic IP update, and you can just enable that, which and you can go through the documentation here. But what that allows you to do is you can download a small program to run locally on your PC or Mac that periodically polls your local network, finds out if you've got an IP address change locally, and then just broadcasts that out or communicates that to the OpenDNS servers and keeps everything synchronized nicely. So hopefully this has been helpful. Again, I plan to do a couple of videos. I want to talk about device filtering for phones and smartphones. That's a big topic that people are asking me about, as well as PC content filtering. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at mike@lzid.net. And that's all I have for today, so God bless.